A ceasefire is holding, well, for now, between Israel and Hamas. This is Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed the AIPAC conference today here in Washington. RT correspondent John Huddy is live here in studio with more. So, John, what did Prime Minister Netanyahu say? And did he say it there while live? Or I heard he was actually from a remote location.
Yeah, he was, Scotty. Prime Minister Netanyahu addressed the AIPAC conference today live via satellite from a military base in Israel after cutting his trip to D.C. short to return to Israel amid the fighting with Hamas. And by the way, yeah, that ceasefire is holding ever so slightly. There's been some reports of rogue rocket fire. We'll get to that. But the Prime Minister's address was largely hampered by technical problems, but his point was made nonetheless, focusing on Israel's security, sovereignty, unsurprisingly, and like other speakers, taking a dig at Representative Ilhan Omar's suggestion that America's support of Israel and AIPAC is, as she tweeted, all about the Benjamins.
From this Benjamin, it's not about the Benjamins. It's not because they want our money. It's because they share our values. The best way to respond to those who spout this kind of hatred is not to bow down to them, it's to stand up to them.
The U.S. Ambassador to Israel, David Friedman, also spoke at AIPAC today and likewise took a dig at Representative Omar, as many of the AIPAC speakers have, including both Democratic and Republican leaders, without really addressing her directly by name, but we all knew who they were talking about. In response to Prime Minister Netanyahu's comments, Representative Omar tweeted this from a man facing indictments for bribery and other crimes in 3 separate public corruption affairs. Next, well, Prime Minister Netanyahu is also facing re-election in 2 weeks. At this point, he leads in the polls. Now this, as a ceasefire, is largely holding ever so slightly and delicately between Israel and Hamas. Again, there were reports about an hour ago and alerts about rocket fire coming from Gaza at Israel. And this after an escalation in fighting the last 48 hours, raising the specter of another war in Gaza. The last one was Operation Protective Edge in 2014. And at this point, Israel sent 2 brigades, armored brigades, infantry and tanks, armored personnel carriers down to the border. Now, since 2014, there have been skirmishes, but no imminent invasion, quote unquote, as some have suggested, or even incursion like we saw in Operation Protective Edge, though the potential is always there for another war to break out. And now, the potential is also there for a multi-front fight, not only with Hamas in Gaza to the south, as we look at this map, Gaza's down here, this is Israel, but also possibly even Hezbollah in Lebanon to the north and Syrian forces to the northeast. It's a fight Israel doesn't want to engage in. Attention is also on the Golan Heights, right here, after President Trump announced U.S. recognition of Israel's sovereignty over the Golan, a move objected to by the Gulf states, including Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Kuwait, and Qatar, all of which say it should be given back to Syria. Well, just a lesson, a little bit of a historical lesson here. As you probably already know, Israel took control of the Golan during the Six-Day War in 1967 and then annexed it in 1981, a move that is not recognized by the United Nations. That said, there are more than 30 Israeli settlements in the Golan Heights, and an estimated 20,000 Syrian Druze live all through this area, mostly in an area right along the border called Majd al-Shams. It's right about up here. Israel maintains it will never give the Golan back to Syria. There are Jewish holy sites there, but more so, it's strategic militarily. The mountains here, it's a mountainous region, provides a natural buffer to Syria. So obviously, that's important and crucial to Israel. Israel doesn't want Syria's military taking control of these mountains and shooting down on the country. Also, it does not hold as much religious significance there, like East Jerusalem to the Muslims. Obviously, the Syrian Druze, it holds significance to them, but more so to the Israelis. But it is in a corner of the region that remains hotly contested, and that is unlikely to change, nor is President Trump's support of his friend, Bibi Netanyahu. Scotty.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.